Tune into our YouTube channel, YouTube/The Goldmine Walt. Is that it? YouTube.com/C/The Goldmine Walt. Okay, hold on. Do we have everyone? Joe Kane? We do have everybody. Perfect. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Goldmine. Another week, another episode on the docket. And we've got a lot to talk about today. So, Sam Goldfarb, Joe Kane, usual host. We got Ryan Eisner back, and then Spencer Wolf, our new Giants correspondent. Is that what we're going to go with? New York correspondent?
Well, we seem right now like the center of New York of sports, even though we're not very good. But yeah, let's just go with Giants correspondent since football's starting on Sunday.
All right, Giants correspondent in studio. We got a great episode planned. I have it on my phone, so we're going to be referencing that throughout the episode. But guys, obviously NFL kicked off last night, and there's a lot we got to get into. Joe Kane had an eventful night last night. Do you care to weigh in on, before we kind of go formally across proceedings, do you care to weigh in on your experience watching the game last night?
It was a great game. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
It was a great game. What can I say? I didn't expect to come out with a win no matter what, but I also thought, it'd be closer than everyone thought, and it was.
Yeah, I think it fit it fit the bill. It was a great way to start the NFL season.
We saw Dak come back at full strength.
Yeah.
That shoulder injury that we saw in
the
preseason,
didn't look existent.
And the ankle injury definitely didn't look existent.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked really good. All right, Ryan, do you have a response? Keep it. This will be fun.
Yeah. Can they fire Mike McCarthy already? Seriously, who gets up and thinks to himself, oh, you know what? I have a great idea. I'm just going to settle for field goals against Tom and Brady already. And that's even after watching his kicker miss a short field goal and an extra point at the beginning of the night. Just a brilliant idea. I can really see why the Green Bay Packers ran you out of town, sir.
All right, well, yeah, so here's my thing, right? I grew up watching Tom Brady. I've seen him do this to a million teams, and you can't fault Dak Prescott.
Not the New York Giants.
I wasn't faulting Dak Prescott. I was faulting the coaches for settling for kicking field goals. That is not a smart strategy against Tom Brady.
Hold on for a second. Who leaves 1 minute and 24 seconds on the clock at the end of the game?
That's my thing.
That was another issue.
Because you knew. Everyone knew when that play was done, when Greg Zuerlein actually made a field goal kick after he missed a 31 and an extra point, that he actually made a field goal. Give the guy, a little piece of credit. If he makes those two field goals and the extra point, the Cowboys win. Who gives Tom Brady 1 minute and 24 seconds? Because you knew he was going to come back and win that game. You knew it.
I think everyone knew the Buccaneers were going to win that game. How many times have we seen Tom Brady do that?
About a bajillion. About a bajillion.
A lot.
My thing is, when here's what we need to go into before we even talk about that last drive, the Cowboys drive, which by the way maybe could have milked more clock, is what we're agreeing on here. The big thing that I need to talk about is we totally forget about what Chris Godwin did on the 5-yard line before that. You got to give Dak credit for going all the way downfield in that offense. Now, granted, with the amount of time they should have burned more. But all Chris Godwin had to do was catch the ball, get to the end zone, and go down if it's not there. Godwin tried to put a spin move on. He got it popped. So we have to talk about that because I remember I was talking to Joe, and I was literally mid-sentence. I was like, oh, you see he's going to go down here. They're going to run clock. And as I'm saying, they're going to run clock, the ball gets popped. So I do want to say I got to give credit to the Cowboys for driving all the way downfield. But I am with you guys about the timing thing. We're always going to forget, though, about that drive that the Bucs had before the Cowboy drive to take the lead. And Godwin fumbled. And, you got to credit to the Cowboys defense. It was Kazee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I think Brady proved the Bucs can make mistakes and still win football games. And, obviously, superhuman, 124 left. That's his special time. But I got to make note of the fact that, it was a costly fumble. They could have run out that clock.
Look, here's the thing. You're pointing out, the game could have been over if it wasn't for Godwin's mistake. Yeah. Also, let's make it worse than it was. It was basically on the 2-yard line.
Yeah, no, it was.
He was right there.
Yeah, it was right there. And the thing is, he tried to fight for more yards. He could have gone down. They could have milked 30, 40 seconds, gotten a touchdown with 2 minutes left, ended it.
But that's what that game was, basically. It was a game chock full of mistakes on both sides.
a lot of game-ending mistakes there. Cowboys could have got an interception off of Tom Brady to end the game right there. With
It would have been Herculean, but yes.
It would have been a great interception, yeah. But it was right there. He had it in his hands. It just slipped out. The Cowboys also could have gotten an OPI call. That could have ended the game. Okay, they could have gotten a touchdown if that happened. We don't know. But that's the thing about this game. That's what made it so great for both teams. Okay? They made all these mistakes. Okay? It's the first game of the season. There are going to be mistakes. That's just a way of life these days. But you see the Bucs, they're at full strength still. They're not going on a Super Bowl slump or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, they look good. Okay? They look really good.
You see the Cowboys.
Tom Brady still got it.
I mean, I never doubted it, but yes.
You see the Cowboys, they're expected to lose by more than 8 points.
Yeah.
And they almost did.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to let that happen. And they almost won the game. They almost beat the reigning Super Bowl champs. That's what people forget.
Yeah, and actually this will segue us pretty well into the topic we got to discuss. We kind of talked about takeaways. We kind of talked about some statements and stuff. But before we go into who made a bigger statement, I want to talk about how does this game, obviously it's one game, it's 1 week, but it's against the defending champs. You play them super tight. You have an opportunity to win the game if you can. I mean, look, you gave the ball to Brady with 90 seconds left. It is what it is at that situation. But you played them tight. So I want to know, how does this make us reevaluate our expectations for Dallas? And I'll send it to Ryan first because he has the mic, and I know he's going to say something totally incendiary.
I mean, I don't really think it changes much at all. Maybe they win the division. Maybe they choke like they usually do. Actually, probably they choke like they usually do. But we can't dramatically change expectations because of one game. If they play like this, more consistently on a week-to-week basis, and, we get to week 6 or 7 and they're just beating the brakes off of everybody, we can talk. But they have not even been to the NFC Championship game since 1995. So, with that being said, let's pump the brakes. And one more thing about Chris Godwin and his mistake. The irony was not lost on me because the NFL coach that preaches to not fight more yards down near the goal line more than anybody else is, you guessed it, Tom Brady's former coach, Bill Belichick.
I just wanted to bring up this one thing. So I was thinking about this, and I was looking at the Cowboys' schedule over. So they play the Chiefs in Week 11.
Yeah.
Here are the Cowboys' future opponents: LA Chargers, Philadelphia, Carolina, New York Giants, Pats, Vikings, Broncos, Falcons.
There's of L's there.
It's a lot of like trap flip games, you know what I'm saying? So like Joe and I were talking about this last night, and like the Cowboys can win all those games. Absolutely.
If they perform like they did last night, they should easily win all those games. But we won't know what kind of team they are until they play a serious team like they play with. Like, I'm a Giants fan. I know they're not the Chiefs. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in Week 11 and what kind of team they are over the next 8 weeks leading up to them.
See, I actually think next week could be a test, Joe, because and I want to let you talk about that.
Let's not act like the Chargers are a bad team anymore. Okay, they're eyeing that wild card spot in the AFC West.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, you got
the Chargers are decent.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, top 10 quarterback debatably right now.
Yeah, it's up. Yeah. It's up in the
Possibly.
air. It's up in the air.
Yeah, that's why I said debatably.
Yeah.
Debatably is the key word.
Yes. Okay.
And you got a great defense. You got Derwin James is coming back. You got Joey Bosa. You got all these key players on defense. It's not a shabby team like it once was. They really didn't know. No. So the Chargers is a game they could lose, but they should win. So yeah.
Ryan, what do you think?
I'd ask if the game was in Dallas or Los Angeles.
I think it's SoFi.
But the game is at SoFi Stadium.
But then I realized it doesn't matter because it's going to be an away game for the Chargers either way.
No, all 5 Charger fans.
That's a situation on its own. They moved to Carson. Now they're even farther from San Diego. Are they going to? Like, the lower bowl name, be full, and that's where the money is. So
yeah, no.
The Chargers getting their stadium taken over every week is maybe the most pathetic thing I've seen. as far from a fan attendance perspective. It is an absolute disgrace.
And America's team is coming to town, so that's
also that I was about to say when the Rams and
that's a home game.
We
When
can
the
rename
Cowboys-
SoFi Stadium AT&T right now.
Pretty much.
Let's not forget when the Cowboys played the Rams, it was basically 50-50
It
split
was.
for
In the-
Yeah.
in the- in the-
Yeah.
In the play, are you talking about the playoffs? Yeah.
So I mean, LA is home to a lot of Cowboys fans,
And well, people in LA are more worried about like
The Rams,
what movie they're gonna watch the next week than they are about
Yeah.
than NFL football, or they're more worried about the Los Angeles Lakers and bandwagoning on the Lakers.
LA
And the Yankees and the New York Yankees too.
LA's
lot
not a
of
city.
Yankees
LA's a
fans over
collection
there.
of suburbs
Yeah,
connected by freeways.
yeah.
Earth to LA, Hollywood is basically not even in LA anymore. Okay, all the movies are made everywhere else but there these days.
Vancouver, Atlanta, yeah, you're not special.
All right. So anyway,
Georgia,
back on track. I do think it's a trap game, regardless, because the Chargers are a talented team. I think those kind of games where they play Minnesota at some point too. Those types of games that they're playing are going to be those
New England,
swing games.
too.
New England's an
yeah.
absolute swing game because even though they're not flashy, they've upgraded their offense. Their defense is freakish. I know that right now. It looks scary, and it's on the road if I'm not mistaken. So it's
Always hard to go into New England.
It's always hard to go to
Always,
Foxborough.
always.
Oh, and I think they can win that game. I probably will pick them to win that game. But I absolutely could see Bill Belichick scheming up a great game plan in that
You
game.
just need to see what you haven't seen a lot of Mac Jones yet. So you
Yeah.
just need to see that.
Yeah,
I
and-
think the Cowboys offense can tear these defenses apart, though. Okay, like they did against the Bucs.
Yeah, no, I mean they had a field day
It's
with the Bucs. They had a
defense
field
that
day
is
with the
still
Bucs.
questionable.
Yeah.
Even if they got 4 turnovers against the Bucs last night.
But the question is, for one, about the Bucs. Their defense was good last year. It was really good, but their secondary was up and down, and they just all came together very well in the playoffs. Obviously, they played brilliant team football in the playoffs. Is the defense coming back down to earth a little bit? And yes, the defense, it wasn't like the defense was shabby by any stretch, but it wasn't what it was in the playoffs all year. So I wonder if maybe that's more indicative of a good not elite defense, but we don't know. I think the Bucs are definitely up there. So I think that we'll see them perform similarly against definitely the Pats and Chargers.
I think I can answer that for you. I think one side is coming back down to earth with that defense, and it is the secondary.
Yeah, and that's
that
the big
front
part.
7 is still lethal.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I more mean, like in pass coverage where Dak tore him up.
It's
That's
But like Ezekiel Elliott, sorry for you who drafted him in
yeah,
fantasy.
yeah.
Where was Zeke Elliott last night? That's a serious question.
Yeah.
Where was he last night?
Hey, Zeke.
I don't-
Hey, Zeke.
I-
I'm losing by a lot because of you.
Okay, that's not that. That was way overblown. I mean, Dak was having an absolute.
Yeah,
field
no,
day
it's true,
throwing
it's
the
true,
ball.
it's
that
true.
was way
It's
overblown.
true.
And they didn't need the threat of Zeke as a decoy was enough. They didn't need to hand it off to him much.
Look, when you're missing Zach Martin, one of the best guards in the league, who is essential for the run game for Zeke,
Yeah.
and you're going up against Vita Vea and
Don't forget about Devin White and Levante
That
David in
too.
that linebacker.
Why
core.
would you risk it?
Yeah.
Like he's not going anywhere anywhere. I mean,
he barely
it's
got any
not
big
gonna
rushes off.
happen.
He barely got any big rushes off. I think
Yeah.
he finished with 39 yards from scrimmage.
And I just want to say, Vita Vea was a freak of nature last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
he played fullback, all this kind of stuff.
He was amazing. And props to him. I mean, he got to Dak Prescott so many times. He made the offensive line one of the better offensive lines in the league still. He made it look like butter, basically.
All right, and the next thing we're going to talk about before we move on to the rest of the NFL slate for the weekend, who made a bigger statement last night, Tampa Bay or Dallas? I'll send it to Spencer first.
Anyone but Joe.
I'll let you go whenever you have the mic.
I think you could see sides for both teams. It's just one game. I'm going to go with Dallas for now.
Yep.
For now, I'm going to go with Dallas just because, we all thought, like, even a day ago, 24 hours ago, that we thought that Dallas was, at least I did, Dallas was going to be more like the team that they were last year. Dallas was not a very good team last year. Dallas had a chance. What happened with Dallas was... No. Dallas had an historic offensive line and not a very good defense, and they had a chance to make the playoffs, and then they lost Week 17 away in East Rutherford in the Meadowlands. And everyone expected that the Cowboys would look more like this. The Cowboys may have lost last night, But they kept that game way
Razor
closer
thin.
than I thought or most people thought. They kept it really, really close, give them a lot of credit. And now, after one game, it is only one game. I want to see what happens against the Chargers and then against their opponents coming up. But after one game, right now, I mean, I need to see what Washington does, what the Eagles do, and what the Giants do. Right now, Dallas looks like the team to beat in the NFCs.
I think that was the statement they made, and that's why I think Dallas made a bigger statement as well last night. We knew what Tampa was going to bring. Ultimately, we knew their offense would be clicking. We know what Tom Brady's been doing over the last 22 years now. We figured that would be the case. The question was how Dallas's offense was going to look, especially with Dak coming off that injury. Dak made it clear he's back.
He played magnificently.
He played incredibly. And I know Joe was thrilled by that. And ultimately, right, there's not another team in the NFC East that can keep pace with them offensively. The question is
if they play like that, and that's a huge question. Consistency has been a huge issue there.
And that's the big question.
For 25 years, by the way.
Yeah. But that's
that's a quarter. That's a quarter century for those of you not as math inclined.
As of week 1, they look good. So that's why I think they made a bigger statement. Ryan, I'm sending it to you.
I would say that Tampa Bay made a bigger statement because I think anytime you have a quarterback that's almost half a century old that goes out and looks absolutely incredible, like that's a statement. The statement last night was Tom Brady's has not slowed down, and he's not slowing down anytime soon.
I've been saying this for years, by the way.
Tom Brady is still here. He is timeless. Him and Gronk are going to be throwing touchdown passes when I'm like married and 50 years old and I've got they're still going to be throwing touchdown passes to each other. It's unbelievable. There's never going to be anything like this ever again. There hasn't been anything like this before, and I guarantee you there'll never be anything like this.
That's why he's the guy.
It's ridiculous.
He's
not just the NFL GOAT. He's better than Michael Jordan. He's the
greatest. Michael Jordan's not even the best in his own sport.
No. Don't say that. First of all, I never heard a Philadelphia. First of all, let me take one moment. I've never heard a Philadelphia Eagles fan say such good things about Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked.
Hold the freaking phone.
Oh, yeah.
We are not just going to go by that. Like
again, LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
No. That's not what this is about.
Everyone, shut the hell up. Look, greatest athlete of all time? I'm sorry.
He's about to say Tiger Woods watch.
Does not exist to you?
No.
What? Does Tiger Woods not exist to you? All these people are way more successful in their respective sports than Tom Brady, okay? All of them are better athletes than him.
Joe, if Tom Brady
I think Serena Williams definitely has.
She
definitely has.
Serena is the only one that has.
Serena hasn't beat.
People have to understand. I love tennis. I play tennis.
Tennis is a great sport, by the way.
Yeah,
but it is so hard to be so good at football for so long. Hey, you do not get hit in tennis the way you get hit in football. Your body takes an absolute beating in football. For Tom Brady to be this good at football at 44 years old is easily the greatest athletic feat we've ever seen.
Okay, Joe, I have one question.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, would you think differently?
That's a good question.
That's a great
question.
Would he bring me 6 Super Bowls?
Well, he'd bring you 6
What do you bring you 1? You haven't won anything in 25 years.
Would he bring me 6 Super Bowls?
I don't know, but start with 1.
Most likely.
Start with 1.
Is it a Tony Romo type situation?
Oh my God!
You did not just compare Tom Brady to Tony Romo.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Okay.
All right, Joe, I'm muting your mic.
Are you going back to the question now?
Yeah. Let's go back to the question. Tampa Bay, jeez.
Nearly half a century old. Okay, what's the?
Yes.
We're clipping that for TikTok, by the way.
He is nearly half a century old. He's 44.
We're clipping this for TikTok.
I think I might have broken my computer's mics after that whole thing.
All right, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who should we evaluate more?
No. Who has the bigger statement? Who made the bigger statement?
Okay, great. Thank you.
He got hung up on
Look, I'm biased, but I'm gonna have to say the Cowboys. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
People came into this game thinking Dak might not be the same as he was, and he was throwing 400 yards per game last season, okay, until the injury. That's an amazing feat right there already. He went in, threw another 400 like it was nothing, okay?
No, I mean, it's respect. The fact that Dak was that good, Joe, is ridiculous.
He had one interception, and a lot of that can be blamed on CeeDee Lamb, who had the ball in his hands and just let go, okay? And honestly, he looked like an elite quarterback that game.
I would say so. Yes.
No,
Yeah,
Dak Prescott was amazing last
he was
night.
in. There's like, I mean, I've been on the. If he does that all season, you can't deny he's elite. Like, I mean, if he like the big thing with Dak Prescott is when his back was against the wall, he wasn't delivering. When his back was against the wall last night, he took him down the field 95 yards and they scored.
Give him credit on that.
Yeah. And another thing about last season was the offensive line. A lot of injuries, okay? And Zach Martin might not be in, and Leo Collins just got suspended for 5 games for a bullshit reason, maybe.
Not bullshit.
He
Totally
failed.
legit.
He didn't fail any of his tests, okay? So until we know the reason, yeah. What is it?
It says Dak looked like an all-pro.
Lady.
Oh, last night. Okay, so we got a comment saying Dak looked like an all-pro last night. I agree with that statement. He
Yeah,
looked
he did.
phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so another problem was the offensive line looked great. Gave up 2 sacks, I think, entire game, 3 maybe.
Yeah, no, and that's against Tampa's pressure.
Yeah, and the biggest change, and it was compared to being the worst in the league last year, the defense getting 4 turnovers off of Tampa's weapons, that is insane, okay?
Give the defense one piece of credit. Last season, the New York Giants scored 34 points and lost on a field goal and beat the Cowboys in their other game. If the defense plays like that and if Dak plays like that, the Dallas Cowboys are outright sweeping the New York Giants this year.
Wow.
That wouldn't be very hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a very no disrespect. It's a little.
And it's
hard.
going to be really hard to sweep the Eagles.
Much harder than it's going to be to
The Eagles are one of the worst teams in the league right now.
Not a chance.
Oh my God, you sound like an Eagles fan.
Delusional
Oh my
Eagles
God,
fan.
delusional.
All right, hey, but now that we're talking about the rest of the NFL, why don't we segue into it? We're going to preview the rest of week 1 right now. I want to know your best game on the slate for this week.
Browns Chiefs.
It's a great game.
Not very hard.
It's a great game.
I'm interested in Buffalo Pittsburgh. I think that's going to be a game that people don't have ranked highly, but I think they should because I think it's going to be a really good game. Or Ravens Raiders. I also think that's
Ravens Raiders. I could be actually sneaky.
That
Could be
could be
sneaky.
good.
good.
Guys, I hope Ravens Raiders is not sneaky because I put Lamar Jackson over Dak Prescott for fantasy this year.
Oh,
I know. Bad mistake. I didn't think he'd be thrown for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns against Tampa's defense. Thank God he did, though, because the Cowboys side of me is happy. But you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Ryan for once today. For the first time today,
Reaching across the aisle.
Browns Chiefs is the best game this week.
Yeah, for 1 second. What's NBC thinking? Sunday Night Football is Chicago versus LA.
I think that's a good. I think
It's a good game.
It's not Browns
It's
Chiefs.
not Browns
It's not Browns
It's not
Chiefs.
Browns Chiefs.
I think number 1, I think Bears Rams is a good game. Number 2, there's a lot more I think that goes into with Sunday Night Football. There are certain rules in place about how many times a certain team can be on it, and so
And Kansas City will be on
Kansas
there.
City's
Yeah,
going to be on it.
Yeah.
And CBS also probably got first rights to that game. They weren't going to give that one up. And I think the Browns Chiefs is a potential AFC Championship preview.
I hope it is.
That's interesting because that would be if we get a good game on Sunday. I think everyone's going to say we want this again and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I think
So hopefully we can
it
get it
very
again.
well could happen twice.
So I'm with Browns Chiefs here as well. But keep an eye on Arizona Tennessee. Because that's interesting. Because here's the thing, right? Tennessee, obviously, Derrick Henry's back. Julio Jones is added to their receiving core.
Performers that'll be out before the end of the wild
I mean,
card round.
you never know. And here's the thing, right? Tennessee's defense and Arizona's defenses are lacking. That's a fact. But both offenses are freakish, and they have freakish weapons. Now, if D-Hop can actually play, because there's the inevitable risk with anybody who's unvaxxed right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
2 more games. Seahawks Colts.
yeah, interesting.
That could be very interesting. And
Who's going to start at
Wentz.
quarterback?
Wentz.
Is it Wentz?
It's Wentz.
It's Wentz.
It's Wentz.
Jeez.
And then
Wentz.
Chargers versus Washington could also be an interesting game.
That could be a very interesting clash because you have, and there's people are saying Herbert might struggle, and I can totally see that. You've got a Chargers offense that was really good last year, and a Washington defense that was clocked out.
Washington's defense is very, very strong, and it'll be interesting to see how Washington comes back after the season after they made the playoffs. Although they're starting Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is very interesting.
Our friends of the Ball Fake podcast say they would rather watch paint dry than watch Ravens Raiders.
Oh, okay then. Sorry.
Yeah. Joe, you have a response to this?
I agree. I think Ravens will blow them out because the Raiders defense
Is trash.
sucks.
It's trash. Yeah.
And Gruden's a washed-up has-been.
I just want to say the question we're answering is, of course, best game of the week.
Yeah, it's the Browns Chiefs.
But hindsight is 2020. I
Yeah.
think the best game already did happen.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to top it.
It's
hard
weird.
to top it.
That's very interesting because I think that's also very likely. And by the end of the week, that could still be true.
I think if any game could top it, I think the Browns Chiefs
Yeah,
could.
obviously. I mean,
That's gonna be a great game.
All right. We got to move on. Upset of the week.
Ooh.
I got it. Me.
Okay, Joe.
Me.
Okay, Joe. Okay.
Browns upset the Chiefs.
Oh!
Shit, just going straight into it. No, I got a good reason.
Flaming
for this.
hot.
I got a good reason for this.
Yeah.
I like Baker Mayfield. That's my reason.
I mean, we're on the Baker bandwagon here, so I can see
Okay,
it.
we've been hyping up the Browns all offseason, basically. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
Yeah, no, we've been having the Browns since
Okay.
midway point of last year when
So-
Baker started figuring out how to play football.
And the reason is they've got a lot of talent. They had a great offseason. It's Baker's second year with a coach, which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
We have high expectations for them.
Yeah.
Maybe too high. But this game is going to be close either way, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I think the Browns could legitimately pull off an upset.
Okay, so I pulled up the line on the game
Ah.
that I pulled up a line on a game that I think might bring an upset, and I thought they were, but I'm going to take the other team. I thought the team that I was going to pick, they're actually the favorite, but I'm
Yeah.
actually going to go
Yeah,
with the underdog here. The Patriots are favored against the Dolphins.
yeah.
I would not be surprised if the Dolphins won that game.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
my pick, too.
there's a lot of. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, and there's a lot of moving parts with that football team. And we didn't figure out our starting quarterback until a week and a half ago, and we cut the other guy. So, like, there's just a lot of moving parts. I think Mac Jones is going to be thrown into the fire, and that Dolphins secondary is still really good. So it could be problematic.
And also, I feel like the system that Brian Flores has set up in Miami is very underrated. People
Yeah.
don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
He set up a good system, and is Tua starting?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how he does, and that'll be interesting. Alabama versus Alabama.
Yeah, Tua versus
Yeah.
Mac Jones. That's a huge flex for Alabama, by the way.
Yeah.
You get into flex 2 starting quarterbacks.
That's where Nick
Playing
Saban's
each other.
Aflac commercial money comes from.
See, I
That
feel
is that is ex-Miami Dolphins head coach Nick Saban, by the way.
Let's not forget-
dropping a little knowledge.
Let's not forget, Miami also has Jalen Waddle coming from
Yeah.
Alabama.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very interesting.
This is.
more Alabama,
Yeah.
in the NFL.
I think that's the most likely upset on the cards. Just because.
Whoa, what about Browns against the Chiefs?
Look, I want the Browns to win. I don't think it'll happen.
Who's favored in the Tennessee Arizona game?
So it's currently Tennessee by 3, and I think they'll probably win at
I
home.
think
I'll
the
favor
Bears
the
could beat.
Chiefs.
I think the Bears could beat
The Bears could absolutely. I think the Rams have enough offense. The Rams have enough offense.
I think
Yeah.
people are acting like
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is like this,
Joe, he's a sleeper for the
He
MVP.
is good.
Matthew
He's really good.
Stafford,
He's really
that he
good.
is
He's really
good.
good.
That he is good. But I don't think the Rams are invincible. I think this is the line. When I saw it, it's Rams by 7.5, and I think that's a little high.
That's a fat line. That's a fat line.
I think the Bears could win that game.
I think that game is really low scoring, and I'm not.
Yes.
I just think both
Which
defenses are
favors-
so
Yeah, super
good.
strong
Yeah,
defense.
and I think that
Donald
kind of game favors the Bears.
absolutely. If the games are in the teens, I think the Bears have
Because the
legitimate
Bears-
shot.
Because the Bears' strength is clearly defense.
Yeah, and their offense, there's questions around it, but like we'll see how the offense looks.
If the defense can give them help and shut down the Rams' offense, and the offense can do just enough to get it over that line for them to win the game.
I think those are both good picks. I think that the thing is, Chargers Washington's a 1-point line. Like I thought Washington wouldn't be favored in that game, but it's at home, so I would have taken Washington over LA, but that's already favored. So
I didn't do pick 'em this week.
I did last minute,
Damn.
but you would have been 0 for 1 anyway, Joe.
Oh,
Oh,
Because you would
I
have
would have picked the Bucks.
Oh, I thought you would have picked the Cowboys.
No, I've been saying all night I thought the Bucks would have won.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
it's not
enough.
that much of a
Saying
ball.
that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Let's move
Sam.
on. Let's move on. All right. Next question for us. Who will be the breakout performer of the week? Individual player. All right, Joe Kane.
The best player in the NFL, okay, is going to be the breakout performer of the week.
It's a breakout performer of the week, not best performer of the week.
Yeah, if you expect the guy
Yeah.
to play, like
Yeah. Well, or like if it's gonna be somebody like kind of under the radar. Do you have that?
Can I say it?
Yeah. Sure.
Can I say it?
Yes. Say it.
The entire Rams defense line.
they're already highly ranked.
And
No, here's my
the
reason.
Bears
No.
O-line is trash.
No, I agree with him.
Look,
How
here's the
wholesome.
thing.
How wholesome.
I came into this thinking of just anybody. I couldn't think of anyone. But then I saw that the Rams are going up against the Bears, and I'm like, that's the safest bet to do.
Yeah.
The Rams
Yeah.
defensive line against that Bears shitty O-line. I mean,
Yeah. No, it'll be
let's
a
be
feast.
honest.
It'll
It's
be a
going to
feast.
be the fact that people are saying the Bears Rams might be close. I don't see. Okay,
I think it
that,
could.
That defense is going to get like 8 sacks tomorrow or Sunday night.
I don't
okay?
know. I don't know if this is a breakout thing, but it would be really interesting to see in that giant Bronco game.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to get it because you're probably only going to get it in New York and Denver, and the rest of the country is going to get Green Bay and New Orleans. But
They want to show good teams.
Yes, exactly. They want to show actual
like
football.
your team that
Ew.
much better. Like your team that much better, Ryan.
We've actually done something recently. The Giants have been an absolute washed-up has-been franchise for over a decade.
That's actually not true. We won a
About
Super
it.
Bowl.
All right. Hey,
No,
stay on topic, everybody.
guys.
Yeah.
This we're
In the
we
Giants-
brought you guys in to go against the Cowboys, not each other.
Oh no. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Against the
Cowboys
good team
suck.
in the
Okay,
NFC.
so talking about the Giant Bronco game, it'll be really interesting to see. I don't know if there's a breakout player because he's not, but Von Miller's returning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and unfortunately, as I don't want to say it, I think he'll come back with a bounce back performance and start Candle Jones a few times. I'm hoping that won't happen.
Fortunately.
I'm a Giant fan.
Well, I know, but like, I mean, he came off on like an ACL tear, didn't he?
I don't care. I want the
or
Giants to win.
Yeah, but it's Von Miller, dude.
I love Von Miller.
If
but-
Von Miller was going against the Cowboys, what would you want?
I would love Von Miller to be good against the Cowboys, but not too good.
Okay, so
You
Good,
know?
but not too good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think for good,
There's
but
a
not too
medium
good.
here.
He's probably going to do better than people say he is because the Giants are terrible and they have no future.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
But I'm hoping for a win, which probably won't happen.
Okay. My breakout performer. This is a very unpopular. It's a guy who's been slandered a lot at receiver, but he's got a good matchup in a mediocre Minnesota secondary. Now, granted, Harrison Smith is good, but Patrick Peterson's really old, and they don't have a lot of good corner options. I think Jamar Chase is going to have a good game. I genuinely think Jamar Chase will have a decent game, and
You mean Butterfingers
and
Chase?
this is precisely why I think you guys slandered him too much in the preseason. I think he's going to have a
Because
good
he
debut.
deserved it.
Yeah, of course,
You think the preseason matters, first of all?
exactly.
No.
That's what I'm going on about.
But if he
That's what
can't
I'm going
catch a damn ball in the preseason, I don't really. Have
I think
much faith
Jamar
in
Chase has heard a lot of talk, and I think that against a Minnesota secondary that we all can agree is lacking in a lot of areas.
That's true.
That's true.
I think Chase is going to have a good game. I think Burrow and Chase are going to link up like LSU days. It could totally backfire. Let me be honest. But like, I'm going to pick Jamar Chase because I've seen. Obviously, we saw the talent at LSU, and I think he's got a lot to prove, and I think he's going to prove it today. Prove it on Sunday.
Didn't Chase come out saying
Something
that-
on the ball, but
yeah,
he also
that-
corrected the comment. Yeah.
No, it was. I would go with Jalen Waddle, staying with former SEC.
It's a tough matchup in the
receivers.
Patriots secondary, but
But I think that he could have. I think that he's going to come in and make an immediate impact.
yeah.
for-
It's a known connection.
And
College.
well, that's what my logic was. But there's versatility with that, right? Waddle isn't just a deep ball guy. He can come off and end around.
Agreed.
He's a very versatile receiver.
Guys, I think I'm gonna lose my voice by the end of the night.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Can I just take one moment for something else?
Yeah.
The Mets are beating the Yankees right now. I know that's not.
Yeah.
If you want,
Yes.
if you want to hear me talk about that, the embarrassment that is the New York Yankees,
Yeah.
listen to my show tomorrow.
Yeah,
at
11 a.m.
The Howl, because I'm ready to chew into the Yankees, and you might hear that.
Someone needs to.
Oh, and the Phillies are the greatest team in baseball.
We
This is the first Goldmine baseball segment we've had since the Savannah Bananas.
We don't.
Oh my God, I love the Savannah
Yeah, we had their president on a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Everyone tune in and watch that video.
Yeah. It's on YouTube and Facebook now.
Okay.
Welcome to the plug portion of the hour.
Okay. So we've gone over our breakout performer of the week. What about your disappointment of the week? This could be a team or a player. I can make this easy for Eisner.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I kind of what you just said with their secondary. I think there's potential for some serious embarrassment to happen there. Look, if you lose to the Bengals, you should probably get relegated back to college football. Look, if the Vikings lose, just send them to the SEC for a season and see how they did. see what happens.
I would have loved to see that
as a science experiment. But I think the Vikings secondary could make them vulnerable to a really humiliating loss.
All right. Do you guys have anything, or should I go?
I think you should go. I want to hear what you have to say.
I know exactly what you're about to say. Say it.
If I know if I
Just
think
say
you're
it.
going to say it,
Just say it.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
I almost said the Falcons.
So,
Oh, come on.
Here's the thing. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good year. I actually like Jalen Hurts, but I think Atlanta's offense might actually have it.
Atlanta's offense.
It might have a decent day against a kind of banged up, weaker.
If they get up
Eagles
28-3, I'll be overjoyed.
then you'll win.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know I'm telling you, I think that Calvin Ridley's in for a massive season. And that's not an understatement. That dude was basically WR1 even with Julio, even though Julio obviously is the one.
Kyle Pitts, I think, is going to be like
Kyle Pitts is obviously going to be huge. I think Atlanta's going to pick Philly apart on Sunday.
Oh.
And that's no disrespect to Philly. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
The day Atlanta picks anybody apart these days is
their offense.
Their
offense has never been the big issue. It's been their defense that's kept them out of games. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you think that Atlanta's going to pick apart Philly,
yeah,
what's Denver going to do to the Giants?
Well, I mean, the Giants' defense is all right, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and Denver's offense is kind of
their secondary is very overhyped after that offseason.
I think Denver's secondary.
And Kenny Galladay.
Oh, you're talking about the Giants now.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay's decent.
I just think Denver, New York's not going to be a super high scoring football game.
No.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a high quality football game. But I think
that's why Fox is putting it on the second of the 425 just to get the New York and Denver ratings. Yeah. But they're still putting Green Bay and New Orleans above everything.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
Yeah. Of course.
It's called good market. That's called good market management.
I mean, honestly, Jameis looked amazing in the preseason, and Green Bay is Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. So, good marketing there.
Yeah. All right, what do you guys have?
I was gonna say Matt Ryan, honestly, but I don't want to do that. Here's the thing about the Falcons. I will say though, I think they will get up, but
they might blow it.
But I think Brian can agree. Yeah. I think Brian can agree. They're bigger chokers than the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. That's why me picking Atlanta is a dangerous game.
They were up 14 on Dallas last year, and then they
were up 20.
They were 3 or 4.
And then they had some issues with onside kicks. If there's a way to choke a game that has not been discovered yet, the Atlanta Falcons will discover it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they had a 99% chance to win 3 games last season. All of them.
I think Philadelphia is going to lose on Sunday, and maybe I'm wrong for picking Atlanta, but I just don't have a lot of faith. It's like two teams that I don't have faith in. I just have less faith in Philly.
Can I go to the other part of the state?
Yeah.
My biggest disappointment, my call is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh yeah, Buffalo, man.
It's going to be the
Buffalo.
Well, no, but I want to say something about the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers started last season 11-0. They played awful teams the whole time.
Yep. And
then they ended the season on a 5-game losing streak?
I think they went 1-4 in their last
1-4?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they lost to the Browns in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're playing the Bills. The Bills are a tough team. That game's in Buffalo. Buffalo is always a rocking crowd. Fans back in the building.
Mafia in full drunken
First of all, the fact that Terry Pagula wants to move that franchise. Terry Pagula, you are the most stupid owner in all of sports. With both the Bills and the Sabres. How dare you try to move those teams? But the Steelers need something, and I don't think the Steelers have that. Big Ben's getting older. He's getting older.
I am not on the Big Ben bandwagon.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
You've been
Steelers are
off
staying
it for
with
a
it.
while.
I've been off it for a long time.
No.
Yeah.
But even if you're like a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
I think it's still kind of hard.
I agree.
I think it's still kind of hard to be on that bandwagon.
Yeah. I like your point on that. I think, look, the Steelers secondaries and defense will be all right. I don't think their secondary sticks out as great, but TJ Watt and that pass rush, it's decent. My issue is the offense is very predictable. It was literally, you knew they were going to pass every play last year.
Within Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and Najee Harris is in the mix, and he's a good running back, but the O-line still is, it's iffy at times. I think it's probably healthier, so it'll be better, but I just think they're a little too predictable, and I think Buffalo's good enough against the run. Well, they struggle a little bit against the run, to be fair, actually. But I think they'll be good enough against the pass, and Steelers won't be able to run on them enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good points
Yeah.
all around. Can I say mine?
Yeah.
Okay, this guy played in the same state for a while. Okay, but he just left.
Yeah.
And he's now starting week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Carson Wentz
Move.
is going to be
Against that Seattle defense.
Oh,
Though. Yeah.
If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan that has hope, don't.
Shove it.
Shove
Shove it.
Get
Shove
shut
it.
of it now. I mean, Carson Wentz is not your savior, okay? He's not that good of a quarterback anymore. He had one good season, and he is the definition of injury prone right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which,
He had a foot injury.
Right,
He didn't
how
know
the
he was going to play.
how'd the whole
Yeah.
Pennsylvania
Yeah.
thing work out?
He got us a Super Bowl. That's all I care.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He got injured against
He
the
put us in
Rams.
position to have home field advantage in that playoff.
Didn't the Eagles?
That doesn't mean you were going to win all those games.
All right, hey, Ryan, have you listed your biggest disappointment or your biggest
Yes,
disappointment?
the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to move on before we have another NFC East war erupt. We'll have an episode just devoted to the NFC war, and we'll find
Not even the NFC, just the NFC.
NFC East war, and we'll get Shaq
That's
out.
the best war there is. Okay, I mean,
It's the most entertaining war. I
No,
don't know
it's the
the
most
best war.
entertaining because
Yeah.
those are the rivalries with the most history.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is.
And the
And
Giants-
all four teams are train
the
wrecks the
Giants-
last 10 years.
The Giants hate Philadelphia. Philadelphia hates the Giants, and we all hate Dallas.
What do you mean? 2014 was a great year for the Cowboys.
I mean, overall, it's been a train wreck.
Dez didn't catch it, by
He-
the way.
The NFL literally said he did.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
yeah,
Are we
yeah.
getting into this again?
Yeah,
All right, hey.
Honestly,
Rein it in. All right, next question. We're just gonna do a quick who you got because we gotta move on to college football.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip the segment about which team's gonna make the biggest noise. So Dolphins, Pats. I'm gonna take the Pats because out of a homer thing, but this could easily go Miami's way.
Dolphins.
Miami.
Okay.
Dolphins.
All right, so 3-1 for Miami. I'm taking Atlanta over Philly.
Philly.
Atlanta.
I'm gonna say Atlanta, but it's gonna be really close.
All right,
I agree.
3-1 Atlanta. Buffalo over Pittsburgh. Easy for me.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
That's a clean sweep. Noah, shout out. All right, Vikings, Bengals.
Vikings.
I'm gonna take the Vikings, but it's gonna be nervy.
Close,
Yeah.
close, but Vikings will do it.
All right, Niners, Lions, Niners for me.
Niners.
Even though
Niners.
it's in the Lions
Niners.
suck. Okay, Cardinals, Titans. I think this is a sneaky good game, but
Oh.
it'll be a shootout. But I'm gonna take Tennessee at home.
Titans.
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 All right, Seahawks, Colts.
Seahawks.
Big.
That's 4 for the Seahawks. All right, Chargers, Washington.
Chargers.
Washington.
I got Washington. I think I got Washington in this game.
I'm gonna say it's all on the defense for this one.
I think that Herbert will have an up and down game. I think it's going to be a problem against Washington. They're going to get a lot of pressure on him.
Okay.
Jets, Panthers in Carolina.
Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers.
Panthers.
I know you love Zach Wilson,
Jets.
Jeff. Oh.
What?
All right.
Are you seriously picking the Jets?
Look. To be fair, it is a battle of two quarterbacks that are a bit wild cardy, right? You got
Sam Darnold is
Yeah.
better. The Jets haven't had a good season
Whoa,
since
whoa,
Sam
1969.
Sam Darnold has more weapons than he did in New York, and that's key. And
Yes.
Zach, and that's why I have Carolina.
Yeah,
Next.
I'm gonna say Jets. Still.
Okay. All right. Jaguars, Texans, boring
Jags,
game, but I got the
Jags,
Jags. I got the
Jags.
Jags. No.
The loser.
Tyrod Taylor.
This
Tyrod
is
Taylor.
the loser might go 0-17 bowl.
Yes, pretty much.
That'll be fun.
All right, the big one, Browns, Chiefs. I got the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Browns.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay. All right, we're gonna go for these next one. We're gonna go around one by one, so we're not all yelling the answers at once. I know it's a rowdy crowd we got tonight. Packers, Saints. I've got Green Bay, but I think it's closer than people think.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Okay.
We took so long on that one.
And now the one that's going to affect Spencer the most. Broncos, Giants.
Okay, you guys go, and then I'm gonna say, you guys go. You go.
I'm gonna go Denver.
Denver.
Broncos.
I don't have faith in the Giants.
Okay.
Peer pressure.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say about the Giants. One, give them a chance.
Yeah, they have a chance.
Give them a
They have
chance.
It's Teddy Bridgewater.
It's also
Give them a
Yeah.
chance.
the Broncos.
Two,
Yeah.
it's not like they're playing the Saints. They're playing the Broncos.
Yeah.
The Broncos won 5 games last year.
Yeah.
They won less games than the Giants.
Yeah.
One less game, right?
Yeah.
Or 2.
In a harder division too.
And the Cowboys what?
5.
6.
6.
Lost last game of the season. They could have had a chance to go to the playoffs. One thing I'm going to say about the Giants is, if you're Joe Judge and if you're Dave Gettleman, you're in that locker room and you're Daniel Jones and you're all these people, you have to win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you don't win this game, one, you'll lose all the support of the people in New York.
Yes.
And two, you got a short week. You go Thursday night in Washington.
That won't end well.
You have to win this game. You have to win this game. I'll go with the Giants just in case because I think they might do it.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance, but I'm going with the Giants simply because you have to win this game.
Well, and also let's keep in mind that this is an offseason that's been hyped up by Giants fans, or not you necessarily, but some Giants fans have really hyped.
Oh no,
up.
me totally.
Yeah. Oh well, okay, fair enough. I didn't know if you because you seemed pretty pessimistic when we talked to you earlier.
No.
but-
I am pessimistic about the Giants
Yeah.
because I've had expectations for all these years,
Yeah.
and all they do is let me down.
Yeah.
Except for 2 years when they're
Yeah,
great experiences against your favorite Tom Brady.
That hurt.
Fun times.
That
Fun times.
That hurt.
But this is the year. Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge is a legitimate coach.
Yep.
And if they can help Daniel Jones, they gave him weapons. It's all on Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
If he doesn't perform, then they get rid of him. And maybe this is the year. And this is the year maybe the Maras act and blow it all up.
And so this is why it's a hyped off season. You got defensive support. You got Holiday.
John Mara and Steve Tisch are getting impatient. We need to see what happens. Hopefully they start off with a win so that all these guys can keep their jobs.
All right, Bears, Rams.
Rams. Closer than the experts think. Rams.
Yeah.
Rams in a blowout.
What do you got?
Toss up. If the defense can play well and the offense can give them help, I'm going to go Chicago.
I'm going Rams in a very tight one.
Okay.
I think that
It's going to be close either way.
I think there's
people are overhyping Chicago.
I think you could argue the Rams have a better defense, and I mean that's close. The Bears defense is really good, but the defenses are about a wash, and then it comes down to the offense being better for me.
And
for
the offense
for
is
LA.
far better for
Yeah.
the Rams.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Also, I think Stafford, the O line for LA's, it's not like ungodly, but it's good. I think. So I think they'll be able to give Stafford some time. All right, Monday night game. This rounds out our slate before we move to college football. Ravens and Raiders. I've got the Ravens.
Ravens.
All right, I think that game is probably not enough defense for the Raiders to stay in it. Their offense is okay, I think.
All right, college football.
All right, let's move.
1 second. It's 7-2 Mets. I'm ready to blow up Citi Field. Next.
All right, college football week 2. We've got our insider Ryan Eisner in studio. We got a couple big ones on Saturday. The first is number 12 Oregon at number 3 Ohio State. We know who looked a bit rocky. Ohio State looked a bit rocky in Minnesota last week. That's a fair assessment?
I think that's a fair assessment. We also have to keep in mind that Oregon needed a fourth quarter comeback against Fresno State.
And is Thibodeau out? Is that a fact?
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it matters. I think Ohio State wins big.
And that's the thing. So what is your degree of confidence in the Buckeyes here? Because they did look a bit shaky, but it's a road Big Ten game.
Very confident. I think Minnesota could be better than people think this year. I'm very confident in Ohio State. I think Oregon's a little overhyped. I think that Ohio State, CJ Stroud, after a shaky start to the game, looked very good. In the second half in particular, I think that Ohio State offense is just too explosive. Thibodeau or not, I just don't think Oregon can keep up. I don't think Oregon can slow them down. I don't think Oregon has enough offense to keep up. I like Oregon by at least 3 scores. Or Ohio State by at least 3 scores.
Yeah, I mean, I think also you have to factor in the receiving core for Ohio State's very, very talented. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. So, I mean, those are guys who are experienced. I forget who the running back was that went off last week, but I think Ohio State, you can ask questions of their defense, but I think
I also don't think they need to have a great defense because their offense is so
Ryan Day's program always puts out Ryan Day always puts out a great team and a great program. Well coached. I mean, the way that he has transferred that program, because there were questions after Urban Meyer, but Ryan Day is the right coach, and there's no reason that they can't get it done against Oregon this weekend.
No. I will say the thing about the defense, though, where that becomes a concern is like a potential college football playoff game against a Georgia or Alabama. That's when their defense would be an issue. I don't think their defense, I don't think will be an issue in the Big Ten because I just don't think there's a good enough team in the Big Ten to exploit it.
All right, Joe, you have any thoughts on this?
I do.
All right, give us.
They've all been said though.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me go last, Sam.
Well, I guess the question I could ask you is how do any of you guys see what is the script for Oregon to win this game if there is one? Like if by any what do they have? What has to happen if Oregon has even a chance?
I'd force a lot of mistakes on Ohio State.
Because it's their quarterback Anthony Brown struggled last week against Fresno State. I can't see him really replicating like being a lead against Ohio State just on a snap like that.
And I think, yes, I do think Fresno State could be it. I think Fresno State's good, but regardless of how good Fresno State is, this is an extreme step up, however way you put it. So if you struggle against Fresno State, now you're playing Ohio State. I think the formula I think Oregon is going to, first of all, have to come from their offense because Ohio State's weakness is definitely their defense. So Oregon's offense is going to have to look a lot better than it did last week. And Oregon defensively, they're going to have to create some chaos. This is one of those games where I think Oregon might want to consider a surprise onside kick at some point in the game. Break out all the trick plays, try and catch Ohio State off guard because Oregon doesn't really have the skill. Straight up skill-wise, Oregon doesn't match up.
All right, I think that sums up our thoughts on this game. Let's move into the college game day game. Number 10, Iowa, at number 9, Iowa State. And Iowa State struggled with Northern Iowa last week. And, I mean, I know you're very high on Iowa. I think, their defense obviously pretty good. And, they've got, I think that Petrus underperformed last week, and they still won by a lot. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on who you have in this game and how much stock we should actually place in the Iowa State struggles against Northern Iowa last week.
Now, Iowa State always struggles in season openers. They lost to Louisiana by 17 last year and still had a fairly good season where they won the Fiesta Bowl. But that being said, and I think Iowa State could still have a very, very good season this year. That being said, I have Iowa winning this game just because if you're going to struggle to score against Northern Iowa, I'm not going to have a lot of confidence in you being able to score against a defense that had 2 pick sixes last week. I think Iowa's defense could be really good. I think whoever does actually end up winning this game, I think is certainly in the thick of the playoff conversation as well. So this is a huge, biggest college football game, biggest sporting event in the history of the state of Iowa.
And I think this segues us into the college football talk. What do we think about, and you can give your thoughts on the game, but what do we think about college football playoff for the winner?
Well, I think it's out of the picture for the loser, no matter what.
Yeah, fair.
But I just wanted to say quickly, I was impressed by Iowa last year, a little bit. But they did lose Luka Garza. So, I don't see them winning. Yeah,
CJ Frederick also left for Kentucky. If we're going that route,
guys, this isn't the same team we saw last year. That's why I have to give the advantage to Iowa State.
I think we need to get the Franometer back out, the Fran McCaffrey rage
guys,
meter.
Don't forget both McCaffrey kids are transferring to Bishop Sycamore.
No! You don't have to do them like that.
No, so one of the kids tweeted it. One of the kids tweeted it.
That's hilarious.
What I think to be honest, college football is not really my thing at all. But I think what's really interesting is there's a matchup that always excites.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's a
always
matchup
close.
that's always close. And I think Iowa will get a slight advantage and do it and get the win. But Iowa State's still a great program. And with now 4 schools coming in, they're going to have to raise their game as they come over. And that news was broken today, yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were going to get to So Utah is an intriguing one, intriguing game for me as far as an upset goes. Again, at Big 12 bound BYU.
Yeah, and Houston too.
Yeah.
And UCF
Dana
and
Holgerson's
Cincinnati.
going to get to play West Virginia.
And college football playoff never makes it in. Team Cincinnati.
Bye-bye, American Conference. It's been nice knowing you.
All right, yeah, no, I got Iowa. I think their defense is too good. Like Ryan said, I think that obviously Iowa State did not look good last week, and I know it's a season opener, but that just doesn't sit right with me. This is a really good Iowa team that usually has the upper hand over Iowa State. I think it's like the last 3 or 4 years. 5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with his proven history and a defense that looked phenomenal. All right, so then let's just segue now into kind of just some quick fire here. I want to know who you have on upset alert this week. Not necessarily going to lose, but is on your upset alert.
I have Texas on upset alert this week. Texas coming off a big win over a very good ranked Louisiana at the time of the game Louisiana team. A very impressive win. Now they have to come this week and play Arkansas on the road, a renewal of an old Southwest Conference rivalry and a future Southeastern Conference rivalry. So getting that in there. An Arkansas team that showed a lot of signs of improvement last season. While they may have struggled against Rice again, and same thing even with Iowa State, you can maybe make the case it was a little bit of the classic looking ahead kind of deal. So that'll be interesting. But it's going to be a very emotional game. Arkansas is going to have one of their, as big a crowd as they've had down there in years. It's going to be really hyped. There's energy in that program that they haven't really had since the Bobby Petrino days. So I think it's a very dangerous game for Texas going into Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I've got Utah on upset alert at BYU.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I think I mean Utah won comfortably
Holy
over
war.
They
I love that.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I know.
They won pretty comfortably over Weber State, but
You guys have a show right now?
yes, yeah. Or is it your turn?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll wrap up now.
Hey, 10
All right.
minutes, 15 minutes, take your time.
All right, we'll finish it up quick. Yeah. So I got Utah on upset alert. We've just figured out that somebody has a show right after us. So we're gonna do one quick question and then end it. What's the team under the most pressure this week to perform?
Clemson.
It's a good one.
Clemson.
They got an easy matchup.
Yeah.
They have an
Yeah.
I know they have an easy matchup, but you expected Clemson to come out. You should expect Clemson to come out and smack these guys. If they don't, it'll be very, very underwhelming.
I'm going to go Iowa State.
Whoa.
The way they played against Northern Iowa, this is supposed to be their best team in program history, and I think the way they performed against Northern Iowa was very disappointing. They have been owned by Iowa recently. I think this is a must-win game for Matt Campbell and the Iowa State Cyclones.
I'm going to go Miami against Appalachian State.
That's a good pick.
Okay. They really didn't perform well against Alabama. So they really have something to prove that they can still, compete in college football right now. They're out of the playoffs for sure, but they still got to prove something now.
I got Texas. I think that this is a year Texas is trying to make a statement and actually compete for Big 12 crown. I think college football playoff crowd, it would take a lot, but
Yes.
this is a game they got to win. It's a road trap game against an Arkansas team that isn't that good, but but could beat them. I got Texas.
And also, if you're Texas, you want to look like you're going to the SEC now for the football, and then not just for the money.
Yeah, losing to a mediocre team in the SEC would not be a good look right on the heels of their impending move.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC for money.
Yes.
Completely.
Yes. And they're also going to get crushed. in the
They're
SEC,
great
let's be honest.
programs in college football.
Texas isn't really. If you take the Mac Brown era, Texas out, Texas is not that great historically.
They just got a huge fan base and all the money.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's all they are.
And
They're
with,
Purdue with a bigger brand.
and with that, we're going to log off air. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Gold Mine.
Make sure to listen to my show tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. right here on Walt 1610. We'll be talking baseball, football, maybe some tennis too.
Tune into the Howl is what it's called. 11 a.m. Walt1610.com. Have a good night, everyone.
You gotta do it, Sam.
Bye, people.
And stream and the Facebook one too.
Yeah, I got you.
Same.